Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven, and this is the Storytime channel. Today we have some malicious compliance stories, and our first story of the day is by a quiet borderline. My French stepmother learns the hard way that Americans can cook. This happened today, and my brother and I are still laughing about it. Except Gabrielle, said stepmother, and Dad, who is embarrassed. Dad came into town to visit my brother, let's call him Mark, and me for a few days and brought Gabrielle with him. Gabrielle has her good traits, but she does have this one really nasty trait. She is notoriously picky or critical when it comes to food. You know, the stereotypical snooty and rude French character in movies and books who always complains, "That is not how this is done in France." She's this way when it comes to food. Going out to eat with her is embarrassing. She constantly sends back food, is insistent on food being made a certain way, and is always demanding certain things done a certain way. One time, she asked the waiter to bring some mustard to the table. Not 2 minutes later, she called him back because the mustard is old. Bring us a new unopened bottle. More than once, I've had to apologize to the waitstaff on my family's behalf and told the manager that I will vouch for them should Gabrielle leave a bad review on their site. She's made waiters and managers cry. She's that bad. Honestly, I have no idea why Dad puts up with her when she does that, even though I know he's just as embarrassed as Mark and I are. We can only chalk it up to Gabrielle having a magical hoo-ha. When they got here yesterday, for some reason, they insisted they wanted to go out to dinner. Dad recommended our new favorite diner, which is known for its breakfasts at any time of the day. We live close to a major interstate, and the saying about truckers knowing all the best diners and holes in the wall in all 50 states, and then some, is true. It's a greasy spoon in every sense of the word. Right out of the 1950s, every leather booth filled with truckers or locals, waitresses who automatically know their regulars' orders by heart, and don't put up with crap from anyone. A bustling kitchen, and while spotless, is just worn enough to let you know many people have been there. It may not look like a 5-star restaurant. It has some of the best breakfasts you're ever going to eat. I was hesitant to take Gabrielle there, if only because I didn't want to ruin the staff's day. Mark and I have been there enough times that the waitstaff/cooks know us. However, Dad wanted Gabrielle to experience a true American classic and was offering to pay. So off we, reluctantly, went. Luckily, we got there during a not really busy time, so I told Dad to find a parking spot and I would go in to get us a table. The reason I did this was so I could warn the staff about Gabrielle and apologize in advance for anything she did. Fortunately, our usual waitress, let's call her Mary, thanked me for the warning and warned the rest of the staff. We go in, get our booth, and Gabrielle tries pulling her usual stunts. I won't go into everything she did because we'll be here forever, but I'll leave a highlight reel. 1. Gabrielle sent Mary back 3 times with the coffee because, in order, it was too cold, it was too hot, and not enough cream. Finally, Mary, who doesn't let anybody push her around, just slapped the coffee pot on the table along with the cream and sugar and told Gabrielle to make do because she wasn't going back to get her darn coffee. This made Mark and me chuckle and Gabrielle steam. Number 2, while waiting and probably still stewing from Mary's little comeback with the coffee, Gabrielle decided to accost Stephanie, who had just started, and tell her to get some fresh biscuits. Not ask, tell. Poor Stephanie, who is understandably anxious about her job, does as told, and then Gabrielle made a fuss about the packets of butter not being soft enough, despite Stephanie explaining that all the butter was kept cold for safety reasons. Gabrielle made a snide remark about how Stephanie couldn't wait 5 extra minutes to let the butter soften, which made Stephanie tear up and me about ready to tell Gabrielle to go freak a French chef if food was that important to her. Number 3, when our meals did arrive, Gabrielle was quiet during the meal, not making comments. I was unsure what was going to happen as a result. Either she really liked it, which I doubted seeing as I've never seen her compliment anyone's cooking whenever we've gone out, or she was planning some nasty barb, which I feared. When Mary dropped off the bill, Gabrielle took it before Dad could and said she was paying. Because I was sitting next to her, Gabrielle left a big fat 0 in the tip line and left a note about, "It's cute that American chefs think they're good cooks when they've never stepped in a real kitchen before. Prove me wrong." Before closing the little book, the receipt came in and hiding it so nobody else could see what she wrote. I was pissed when I read that note and was about ready to slap Gabrielle. I know the chefs and servers who work at this particular diner learned their skills on the job, and if you ask me, they have every right to be as proud of their work as someone who went to culinary school would be. While I'm looking at going to culinary school myself to become a pastry chef, I respect people who've learned by working in kitchens or on the floor because they have first-hand experience. I took out $100 using the ATM at the diner and gave it to the staff as a tip, along with an apology for her behavior, embarrassed and angry. Fortunately, they didn't hold it against us, except Gabrielle, and told me that Mark and I were always welcome back. I also decided that I was going to get back at Gabrielle. There was a benefit to this lockdown. During this time, bored out of our wits and wanting to better our skills, Mark and I have been binge-watching recipe and cooking how-to videos online, along with practicing. And while I don't like bragging, I'd say we've become quite good. We know how to smoke our own bacon, cure corned beef, make creamy scrambled eggs and bake flaky croissants, and that's just a sampling. When we got home, I told Mark my plan and he was grinning ear to ear. The next day, when Gabrielle and Dad still slept, Mark and I got up early and got right to work. We prepared scrambled eggs, home-cured/smoked bacon, biscuits, and a fruit salad. Dad woke up early and smelled the breakfast, waking up Gabrielle by saying that the kids were making breakfast. Dad came downstairs first and Mark asked him to set the table. Gabrielle came down as we were finishing up and she sits down, not offering to help. While Gabrielle commented about how it smells just like a restaurant she went to in France and couldn't wait to taste everything, Mark and I served Dad in our plates before putting everything back. Gabrielle looked at us confused. I looked at her. "Oh, I thought you were going to a French cafe for breakfast," I said. "You did write on the receipt of the diner that you thought it was cute Americans think they're good cooks if they haven't set foot in a real kitchen, and you wanted someone to prove you wrong." Dad looked at Gabrielle, his eyes wide as all the color drained from Gabrielle's face. "You wrote what?" "Well, hop to it," I said, sitting down. "Enjoy your French breakfast with your French chefs." Gabrielle's face reddened before she left. I don't know if she was embarrassed or angry, but we were able to have a nice breakfast without any of Gabrielle's complaining. She did come back after getting breakfast and has been nice and quiet all day. Hopefully she's learned her lesson and Dad grows a backbone. You know, I actually saw a documentary on this one time, I think maybe on the History Channel, that talked about how anyone could cook, even rats. In all seriousness, would you guys consider a proper chef somebody that had proper culinary training as far as schools or classes, or is somebody that works in a diner and picked it up as they went just by working on the floor still a chef in your eyes? Let me know in the comments down below. This next story is by Liability Landon. "You can't be late anymore. You are to work only your set schedule. Okay, you're the boss." So after I graduated college, I went back to work at my high school job at a large auto parts chain. I have a few stories of malicious compliance from there because it was a miserable place to work with miserable management, but I think this one takes the cake. I lived about 15 minutes from the store and would routinely work 1 to 2 hours past my shift to help the manager close up and tally cash sale receipts. We were mainly wholesale, so the cash receipts were a small portion of the sales and had to be tallied by hand, as well as take out the trash, prep and stage the first deliveries for the next morning, as well as sweep the storefront. I didn't mind doing these things because I got a little overtime out of it, got in the good graces of the manager, or so I thought, and being that even though my drive home was short, staying a little late and letting traffic die down was fine with me. One morning, I walked in at about 9:07 when my shift was scheduled to start at 9 a.m. I didn't see what the big issue was since I had been staying late every day for months helping him close the store, but he apparently took issue with it that day. Which would have been fine if he had said something along the lines of, "Hey Opie, you're late and I know you worked long yesterday, but let's still get here on time." But that isn't what he said. He flew off the handle and went on about needing to work my schedule and we have schedules for a reason and you just need to be at work for the schedule that I made you. Well, needless to say, since I had been staying late for months to help him close the store, it's against policy to not have 2+ people in the store at a time, despite it not being on my schedule. This rubbed me the wrong way. So, I convinced myself that instead of causing a scene and yelling, I would just do exactly what he said. So 5:30 rolls around, we closed at 6, and I stood in front of the computer until it hit 5:30 exactly, clocked out, and started walking towards the door.
Where are you going?
I say home.
What? Why? Who is going to help me close the store tonight?
I don't know, but you made it very clear I was to work my schedule, so I get off at 5:30. It's now 5:30, and I'm going home. And I walked out. The next morning, I got there at 8:55 and just stood in front of the computer until it hit 9 o'clock. Phone's ringing? Too bad, my shift hasn't started. Deliveries need to go out? Sorry, I'm not on the clock yet. I clocked in at 9 o'clock and then clocked out at 5:30. Same conversation as the day before about who was going to help him close. The third morning I walk in and he waits for me to clock in, then pulls me aside to talk to me.
You know, I think we can overlook a few minutes in the morning if you stay and help me close.
Oh, interesting. I thought I was supposed to just work my schedule.
Yeah, well, I guess we can overlook that.
I had very few problems with this manager after that little exchange. If y'all want more stories from the insane tiny tyrant-filled auto parts world, just let me know. Plenty more where that came from. The double standard here is hilarious. They want you to stay multiple hours after your shift ended, but you being 7 minutes late in the morning, absolutely unacceptable. I guess to be fair though, anytime you work after your shift, you are getting paid still. So maybe there is a point to it. You are getting overtime still, right? Although you are working 2 hours past your scheduled shift, you're still getting paid. And our final story of the day is by Coulda Shoulda Woulda. My, how the glass tables have turned. This is how eBay lost its way. I used to sell things there weekly as a side hustle while my wife was a stay-at-home mom. My wife would find items at yard sales, flea markets, etc., and we would list them on eBay. I listed a glass dining table as local pickup only. The words local pickup only were all over the ad. Last second, some guy 2,000 miles away overbids the local people by a few dollars. I told him local only, and he said it didn't matter. He won. He would pay shipping, etc., etc. eBay wouldn't disclose second place bidders and sided with him, giving him all the power in the situation. He threatened to give me a bad review unless I shipped it, and offered me the princely sum of $20 to disassemble and deliver it to a UPS store where he had an account.
Just drop it off and they'll do the rest, he said.
I had him send me a message saying he accepts all responsibility for damages in transit. Against my better judgment, I took the $20 and delivered it to a UPS store who was neither expecting nor equipped to package and ship it themselves. Apparently, that's not a service they offered then. After informing the buyer, he said I just had to package it myself.
After all, he had paid for this service.
I almost lost my mind. UPS employees said he had a valid account, so I could use whatever I wanted. Well, if you insist, I thought to myself. They saw what was up when I asked them what was the most expensive packing materials they have. On went several layers of bubble wrap, double wall corrugated cardboard sheets, 2 layers of that just in case. Cardboard corners all around and a few rolls of the most expensive tape covering the whole thing. The package with the top was about 10 inches thick and the packing materials cost as much as the shipping did. In the end, the employees were helping me wrap it after I told them what happened. We made a separate package for the legs and frame and I marked the glass top with tons of fragile/glass stickers and left the rest to them. I told them to document the package condition on delivery as this guy was a pain in the butt. It took well over an hour for this quick drop-off/easy $20. A couple days later, I get this raging message on eBay about the shipping costs. I politely answered that he paid me to deliver it and use UPS materials to package it. A few days pass and he claims it was damaged due to improper shipping and packaging, and eBay sided with him, but would only refund it if he returned the item. I was laughing so hard at the thought of him shipping it back for $80 or whatever it cost. However, eBay's little mediation system decided to refund part of the cost to him and allowed him to keep the table. But not before he gave me a negative review which I couldn't get removed, only reply to. Then eBay removed my reply for being toxic or something, leaving him with a table he shouldn't have been able to buy, with half his purchase price refunded, and me with a negative review that made me look like a crook. But being a spiteful, petty person, I wasn't done. I used two friends' eBay's accounts and followed his listings closely. He was actually running a business on eBay selling furniture. I waited for two lower-priced items to go cheap within a week or so of each other, and sniper bid on them, one from each eBay account. I was super pleasant via messages and asked if I could call to arrange shipping. I had my friends pose as the buyers and gave an address to a nursing home and community center for each item. They paid using their PayPal, but made sure he used the address given via phone. Total investment was about $120. When I saw both packages had been delivered a few days earlier to the addresses I had given him, I asked him where the items were. He started getting freaked out when it was coming from two accounts with very similar situations. I told him the address was right there on PayPal, that's where it needed to go. Then I dropped two nasty reviews on his account, calling him a scammer and making claims he couldn't refute, kinda like he did to me. Eventually, I got the money back for both purchases. He had 2 strikes on eBay as a scammer, and I never used eBay again. Last time I looked on eBay, it had more in common with Wish than the eBay I was using. The eBay mediation policy is definitely pretty rough for the sellers. And oftentimes people can buy really expensive stuff and then just immediately say, eBay, it was damaged when it got here. Now think about you're selling something new, mint in the box. Somebody gets it, they open it up, they tear a piece of the cardboard off or whatever, then they go, you know what, nah, I don't actually really want this. They hit up eBay, they say it's damaged, it's defective. They get all their money back, they're able to just ship that item back to you, and you're out a perfectly good new mint item. The system's very flawed. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So if you have a favorite story of the day, let me know which story and why in the comments down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like, and if you haven't, subscribe and turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video. No matter what you do, whether it's just viewing the video, liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, I appreciate the heck out of it. Every little thing that you do helps the channel grow that much more, and I can't thank you enough for it. So until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll be right here next time on the Storytime channel.